I forgot like 5 minutes after, and
All right.
because you didn't let me just tell you it, man. I forgot.
The
See,
2025 NBA playoffs are starting this weekend. Carl Kalanch with the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans, joined by Mike and Zig. And we were briefly just discussing the play-in. So when we get to the 1-8 seed, the Heat will place the Cavs. I guess, do we care about that series? Do we want to tell? No. So we just want to move on. Just pick a winner. The Cavs
We're gonna
win.
do it just like how you did your WWE takes with Hollywood J and what's my other brother named Joel. We just gonna skip right past that. That we don't care about that.
Nobody cares.
All right. Well, again, for context purposes, just give me a winner, I guess, in how many games?
Cleveland
Just
in 4.
Yeah, word.
Okay. We move on to the Pacers versus the Bucks. Now, word is that Damian Lillard is he's been cleared. Thank goodness he's cleared, and for himself, he's just happy that he's able to play. So he's been cleared. What are our thoughts here?
Who you going to, the Pacers fan or the Knicks fan first?
Well, I guess Mike can start us off. What are the keys? Well, I guess Mike's going to pick his team.
What do you mean you guess? If the man set you up, he said there's a Pacer fan here, and you're going to wonder who's going first. That's cold blooded. If it's the Celtics, you going first, or me and Zig going to talk first? Come on, man, get it together. No, listen, yeah. Thanks for sharing that with me. I think it was yesterday you shared that with me, Carl, about Damian Lillard. Praise God for that, because that's dope. So with that being said, we should beat them, but I am nervous about how Giannis has been playing lately, because he's been playing incredible, and we've all seen it, that there are certain series where a superstar player can elevate his team beyond maybe the talent level that he has in comparison to the team he's playing. So I'm favoring the Pacers to win in 6. I believe we have more continuity. And the one thing that I will want to see is if Tyrese can be more Steph Curry than Chris Paul. If he plays like Chris Paul, then he opens the door for Giannis to be the superstar. But if he plays more, a little mixture of Chris Paul, but more Steph Curry, meaning if he scores, then we should handily beat them with all of we're healthy. Benedict Mathurin is healthy now. So I think we have the firepower offensively, clearly, and defensively, we're a lot better than people give us credit for. So I think we should win in 6.
Honestly, it goes back to what I say. Damian Lillard will be key for me. I think in a matter of he's not playing game 1, but as the series prolongs, how many games is he able to play? Is he 100% as far as, and he hasn't played in about a month or so. So for me, it's a matter of figuring out. I think if Lillard plays, the Bucks have the advantage. And Mike, I love you, but I think the Bucks win. But given the fact that he's not playing right now, I'm going with the Pacers in 6 right now. But that can change given Damian Lillard being, to me, that X factor. Zix.
I feel like this is one of those series where it could actually go to 7. I feel like the Bucks really only have 2 major key players, and with Damian Lillard coming back, is he going to be 100%? Is he going to have one of those games where he goes, 12 for 18, or is he going to have one of those games where he goes 2 for 15? Giannis is going to do what Giannis does. You saw what Giannis was doing. He was doing everything with Dame out. He was out here getting triple doubles with high assists. But the Pacers, I think Mike alluded to it best. I've had that conversation with Mike before, where it's like, yo, which Tyrese Halliburton are we going to see? Is he going to be the one? He said Chris Paul. I was going to say Magic Johnson, because he do be dishing those dimes. But I would like to see Tyrese Halliburton score more. Is he going to be that? Is that guy going to show up? Is Miles Turner's going to have one of those games where he's going to drop about 5 or 6 3-pointers in the game? Is Benedict Mathurin going to be one of those dudes that's going to show up? He's another key guy that a lot of people sleep on. Another individual is the young boy from Canada. I think his name is, what's his name, Mike?
Andrew Nembhard.
Andrew Nembhard. He's another one. He's like a dagger in the Knicks last year in the playoffs. What is he going to do for us? I think the Indiana Pacers have more depth. I'm gonna go with the Pacers in this one. I think yes, Giannis has been doing his thing, but I just don't really see the chemistry really between Giannis and Damian Lillard, and I feel like in a sense they kind of limped in to this NBA playoffs. So I'm gonna go Pacers. I'm gonna say Pacers in 7.
Mm. All right. And I also said that to Mike about our cousin Benedict. I said our
That boy
cousin,
nice.
he is. He really is. Like,
Yeah.
he's definitely. And last year he wasn't a factor for the Pacers. So I think, like I said, as long as I think the Pacers stay pace and having Damian Lillard for me is really the X factor in the series and figuring out how many games he plays and he doesn't play. That being said, we move along to the Knicks versus the Pistons. I guess I'm starting off with the Knicks fan in respect to what I did in the last one, and you're shaking your head no. Why?
I'm shaking my head no, just because when I think of this Knicks team now, um, shout out to Optimum. Y'all are some bozos. I just want to put that out there first and foremost. It's been real hard to watch Knicks games ever since y'all did that. So thank you for that. Um, it's been this Knicks team is not as tough as that last year Knicks team with Julius Randle and DiVincenzo. We had some dogs on that team. We talk about Isaiah Hartenstein. I'm saying that, but I still believe that we'll be able to beat the Detroit Pistons. Somebody asked the question before how many games. I think it will get them in 6.
Mm.
I think Cade Cunningham is going to do a lot of hunting, and he's going to be targeting Jalen Brunson. Mike, you talked about this in the past about small point guards. Jalen Brunson feasts on smaller dudes. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be looking to target him in those pick and roll actions, and then you also have, if he gets Cat on a one-on-one island and we're playing drop coverage, it's just not going to look good for us. So I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where I don't know if you guys remember that San Antonio, New Orleans Hornets series where it was Tim Duncan and crew versus David West, Page, Chris Paul, where they let Chris
That was
Paul just.
2008.
There you go, exactly. They let Chris Paul kill,
Yeah,
and they had to lock everybody else up. I wonder if we have to take that
they
away.
lost in 6. If I have to
They
remember,
lost
they
in
lost in
6.
6,
They lost
right?
in 6, and there you go.
Yeah,
So
Chris Paul was MVP candidate that year.
there
Yeah.
you go. Right. So I'm going with Knicks in 6. I wonder if we're gonna be able to do that. If Mikal Bridges show up, I think this would be easy done in 5. If he's struggling, then I think we'll get them in 6. But Cade Cunningham is gonna be really, really major. And then you got Malik Beasley, who all of a sudden wants to be this high playing role player. And let me just stop right there. But yeah,
Well, you know what? To pick up to piggyback off that, I think the Pistons have a lot to prove. They've been slept on all year, and when you have a young, scrappy team who
you don't have
triple
nothing
the,
to prove. You're like you just
they
said, you're
do.
a young, scrappy team. You're
I'm gonna
in the
tell you what
playoffs
they
for
have to
how
prove.
many?
Again, during the year, people haven't been really talking about them, and the media's kind of
As
like,
we shouldn't.
yeah, like no one
We
was talking
shouldn't.
about them. They tripled their wins as far as and people doubting them. I feel like again they have a team that's something to prove, and people have been sleeping on them. Even their head coach getting mixed up, Shaq getting mixed up with who's their coach on their team. I don't know if he was joking or not.
Shaq's a clown.
Like people, yeah, Shaq's a clown, and people making fun of them. This is their stage for them to be here to make a statement. That's all I'm saying. When you have a team like that that's young, and they're going to be playing in the Garden, which is the world's most famous arena. Someone's looking to be the next Trae Young. That's all I'm saying. It's
I,
real out
I
there.
I understand all that. It sounds cute, right? But they're like you just said, they're young, and then so it's like, oh, they win. Oh my God, they beat the Knicks. They lose. Oh my God, they weren't supposed to beat the Knicks. So like, I don't want to really hear that crap, to be honest. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, they do what they do. I won't say this will be an easy series for the Knicks. It's gonna be tough because we had problems with them in the season. But the Knicks should get them out of here in 6. Don't give me that crap, Carl.
I'm
Now
going
you
with the
waking
Knicks
me
in
up.
six two.
I was
I'm
just
going with the
thinking
Knicks in
about
6-2. All I will say is just be careful. That's
no,
all I'll say.
I will, because
That's all I'm
listen,
gonna say is that
we get
I got the Knicks.
if we get bounced, I'm gonna be crying on this live, bro. I ain't gonna
just be careful, Mike. What are your thoughts to add to what we just said?
I echo everybody's sentiments, even yours, Carl, because they're going to take their pound of flesh, the Pistons, from the Knicks in this series because they're going to play physical. JB Bickerstaff already has set the tone for that team that they're going to play physical. They're going to unleash beef stew on y'all. So they're going to try to muck up the series. But to Zig's point, there's too many veterans on the Knicks. So as soft as they are now, because I'm
They
with
soft.
you, Zig. I don't think y'all are tough anymore. I think it's a more finesse team, and that's partly because, or a large part because of Karl Anthony Towns. So you're a more finesse team. You could tell offense and defense is different. So yeah, I think the Knicks will get him out of there in 6. I think it's too much veteran talent on the Knicks that will be able to make the timely plays after Detroit does all their physical activity. Then eventually the Knicks timely players will take advantage. Now, but Zig, you are correct that Cade is going to target Jalen Brunson, and maybe not in this series, but that's what I'm saying. They're going to take their pound of flesh. He can wear on him when he's got to run through all of these screens or asking for help. There's a way you can take advantage of him. But yeah, I think the Knicks will finish them at 6.
And I feel like, sorry, Carl, I feel like they really have to, in this particular series, we talked about the finesse, right? You got to unlock Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
You got to get him going. We can't. I want to see more pick and pop action. All these threes that we've been talking about, we didn't really get to see a lot of it in comparison to how he did in Minnesota. You unlock Karl Anthony Towns, and we'll get this series win.
Ziggs, let me ask you this. I had a friend of mine tell me Josh Hart should come off the bench in this series. What are your thoughts there?
I don't like it because if Josh Hart comes off of the bench, what are you running? You're running Jalen
Mitchell.
Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG,
Mitch.
Karl Anthony, and Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, defensive.
Maybe in spurts, but I don't want to see Josh Hart come off of the bench for the simple fact if you have that 5 running with us, who's going to give us that firepower off of the bench? Miles McBride been having an up and down season. He's been dealing with injuries. Unless you want to have Mikal Bridges run it. I'd more rather Mikal Bridges come off of the bench and have him run it like how he did when he was in Brooklyn.
Right, because him and OG are kind of like the exact same player.
Yeah.
So you don't really – that makes more sense. I think the reason why people are suggesting that is if Detroit goes bigger and like has Beef Stew in and Jalen Duren, if they put both of them in, but Beef Stew comes off the bench. So I don't so everybody's relatively small in the NBA now. So nobody really plays 2 big lineups. So I don't know why they would but I know probably why they would do that is because we know Cat isn't a good defender. Mm-hmm. So if you know Cat's not a good defender, you need to have a defender with him, like a la Rudy Gobert. And with the Timberwolves last year, Cat's defense looks better when he can play the 4 and kind of help side defense with another actual legitimate defender like Mitchell Robinson. So that may be the thought process. And also the main thing that Josh Hart provides is offensive rebounding. Well, if you have 2 bigs out there, particularly Mitchell Robinson, then you don't need Josh Hart to do that. Because Josh Hart's not really in there to score for you. He does the grunt work. Having 2 bigs already helps that. So I can see why that makes sense. And if Detroit plays bigger, or if Tibbs just wants to be more physically aggressive, considering the team he's playing, it would make sense to me.
We'll move along to the Boston Celtics versus the Orlando Magic. Is this something you want to discuss? I think for me, it's the key. As I said, I'm concerned about Jaylen Brown having knee injections. That's a little alarming to me. I'm gonna be honest, but gentlemen sweep Celtics in 5. I got.
Carl, give me. I'm trying not to cuss. Give me a break, Carl. Give me a break, bro. Give me a break.
Well, I can't be concerned.
No, you can be concerned in the later rounds. You know what I'm saying? I understand that concern, but the Magic have been so up and down this particular season. I think Mike was one of the first ones who talked about it. Like they were one of those teams that don't know that they're bad yet. That's one of Mike's sayings. And I think Orlando was one of those teams where they came out the gate, they were dope, they were looking like a certain kind of situation, and then Paolo got hurt, Franz got hurt. They came back and they weren't really the same kind of team when those guys got back. So Celtics in 4, man. They at this point we just waiting to see what the Celtics are going to do in the second round and what they're going to do in the third round.
Mike,
I don't know, Zig. That I'm only from this standpoint, and I told Carl this. Orlando's a big team. One of the advantages Boston has over everyone is they have this their starting 5 is huge. They're a tall group, and the Magic have that. They can match that size, especially with Paolo and Franz, who are both 6'9" and 6'10". So they can actually match their perimeter players in Jalen and Jason Tatum. So that's a challenge, but overall, of course you are right. They're probably going to – I wouldn't say a sweep. I think Orlando could win a game, but it's not that challenging. Cause your worry is for the rounds after that.
Yeah.
Every round after that is when Jalen's knee becomes an issue, because the rounds after that, I think y'all would have us in the second round. Oh no,
no,
we
have the Knicks.
You play the Knicks, so you wouldn't have to worry about it then, because the Knicks, with all respect to the Knicks, their two wing guys in that series are going to be so focused on defense. They're not really going to be scoring like that. They got to,
and they're more concerned, and it's going to be concerned with Porzingis and Tatum.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones that have to score. So Jalen's really going to have to worry. There's not a lot of. He's really the only two guard in the East that's strong like that. That's offensively minded. That he would have to worry. That is offensively minded. There's not too many small shooting guards, because he's at the 2. There's not too many 2 guards that big that's offensively minded. So that's why I said Orlando has the size to match him, but I just don't know if they have the offensive firepower. So yeah, to Zig's point, cut it out. You don't need to be that worried. To be worried.
Let's take our time right now, right? So out west, we got OKC versus Memphis. Is this something we're talking about?
Wait, that was all the series in the East?
Yeah, we just went through them. Yeah, Cavs, Heat, Pacers, Bucks, Knicks, Pistons, Celtics, Magic. I'm trying to get through this. Yeah, we good. Okay. Right. OKC versus Memphis.
No, I like it, man. It's a sexy matchup.
That's gonna be fun.
I like it.
Well, Ja played tonight, so he looked fine. Are we just not concerned? Like, I'm sure he played through it, and he had injections himself in his ankle, as far as his injury. So now they have to monitor that. What are our concerns there? Are there any concerns at all, or I guess
a little bit? But honestly, he's due for injury in the playoffs. That's just what happens with Ja. Ja gets hurt in the playoffs. He's been hurt consistently the past couple of playoffs, so there's no reason to assume he won't be. Now, having said that, knock on wood, this series is going to be cool, man. These are 2 young stars, so it's going to be exciting to watch.
But OKC, clearly the favorite will get the advantage. I would say OKC in 6.
OKC, I was about to say that OKC in 6. I could see them putting Lou Dort on Ja Morant. Desmond Bane has been having an up and down season. Jaren Jackson has been really, really dope, defensive player of the year candidate, but I don't think that's just going to be enough to deal with. OKC has a lot of depth. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of players who you don't even the average fan wouldn't really know who they are, and they'll just come in and give you 20, 25, and you just be like, wait, who is that? So I got OKC in 6. Shay's going to do what Shay's going to do. Shout out to J-Dub. And Chet Holmgren is another guy who's coming back, from his injury. So I'm gonna go with OKC in 6.
Mike, same thing.
Yeah, I think the talent on OKC's side tips the scale more than maybe Memphis's experience, because I don't think Memphis has that much experience really to kind of sway the talent disparity. So yeah, I'll say OKC in 6. But like I said, I'm just excited because we get to see some of our young stars. And I promise you, if it was Dallas versus OKC, we would skip that because I'm not watching that. I was not going to watch that. So
we got Denver versus the Clippers, another nice matchup too. There at the 4-5. Which Ziggs, I'll give you credit. I did at the beginning of the year said your man should retire.
You was talking mad hot.
Yeah,
I really was.
Apologize.
I'm not apologizing. Not
you
yet.
Have to.
No, I don't.
You have to.
Not yet. No, you know why? Because the playoffs are not.
No. We're not going to allow you to do that. You said that man should retire. Have you seen how he's been playing? You need to apologize.
I have seen how he's been
playing. Okay to be wrong. You were wrong. He does not need to retire, Carl.
The man's lateral movement got better. Like
He
you see
looked-
the dribble package.
I mean, with all that time off, I'm sure it
well,
should have.
no, that's no.
With all that time off, I would believe it should have at this point.
You're a hater.
That's hate. That's hate. You gotta apologize to that man. That man looking good.
My bad, Kawhi. He looked good right now.
Good right now.
He looked real good. That being said, in that 4-5, where Denver, I guess, to close out the season, had 3 key wins. They went 3-0 after they fired their coach. But the Clippers look good with James Harden playing really well. This is a series I could totally see going 7. And it comes down to the key matchup or one last play. Who wants to take it first? Who we got?
I'll go.
Kawhi guy.
I'll go. I am the Kawhi guy. Kawhi has been playing magnificent, but all in all, that team has been playing magnificent. We talk about Kawhi, but Zubats has been a monster. Zubats and Norman Powell have been monsters all season. James Harden's going to do what James Harden do, but those guys really, really stepped up in the absence of Kawhi Leonard, and I'm just amazed at what they were doing because I thought that it would have been looking like a little shaky for the Clippers, but they were able to get their way into the playoffs, and now they got to go ahead and go up against this Denver Nuggets team that, to me, is still a little bit – still got to be a little fearful of them because they got that man Nikola Jokic on the team. Not sure where I'm going. I feel like this is one of those games where it's a pick'em series.
Yep.
You got to take your time and just look at this from a game-by-game basis. I feel like we'll be able to narrow it down by maybe game 3 to be able to identify who's going to win this series. I don't know which Jamal Murray is going to show up.
Correct.
He's been having a Jekyll and Hyde season as well himself. I don't know if Michael Porter, I wish Andres was here because you know how much he loves Michael Porter. But I just don't know where he's been at this season. Aaron Gordon has been having up and down season with his injuries. It seems like the only constant that's been there has been Nikola Jokic. Is he enough to get the Denver Nuggets past the Los Angeles Clippers? I don't know. So I feel like by game 3, I will be able to have a better idea of who's going to win this series.
Well, I mean, being said that Denver is inconsistent, then that could prove that you go lean towards the Clippers who have been consistent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So at that point, with the team that's inconsistent and the team that's playing really well,
Yeah.
you lean towards the team that's playing really well. Mike?
Well, the Clippers have been consistent lately, but they wasn't consistent all year. So
they're consistent at the right time. So I mean, at this point.
But if we look at both seasons in totality, Denver finished 4th, they finished 5th. Both of them have been inconsistent because the Clippers early on in the year, they were shaky. Then there was this little portion in the year where they got hot. Then they got shaky again. Then they closed the season out well. And same for Denver. And so, yeah, this is one of those pick'em series. 4-5 is always a pick'em series. So no different in this one. The X factor is going to be Jamal Murray because what James Harden is going to lack in close games, Jamal Murray will not. So he's already proven that he's a big time player. So, and I'm saying him because Kawhi and Joker, they cancel out. So now it's going to be James or Jamal Murray. Which one can be consistent late in games? We've watched Jamal Murray do it and win. We've watched James not do it and fail and lose. So I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt that all of a sudden he'll change his stripes. Nope. I'm expecting the same James Harden that I've been getting. And if I expect the same Jamal Murray, then I have Denver in 7.
So that being said, we got the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I guess Rudy Gobert and Luka again in a matchup.
He gonna address Rudy Gobert if he stand out there on that island. Oh boy,
it's out there. No, but honestly though, I think this will be a key series too. I could see this going 6. Pains me to say it, but I'm taking the Lakers in 6.
It's not pain, it's reality.
It's reality, but as a Celtic fan, it's hard to.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah, no, that's honestly how I see it. Yeah, I definitely see the Lakers. In 6.
I kind of agree with you on that. I was actually going to say maybe 5. I feel like that just
Oh
offensive
wow.
firepower from Luka Doncic and LeBron, like they just got clicking at the right moment. The NBA knows how to always make the Lakers look good when they. Let me not go on that. Let me not go on that mountaintop. But y'all know where I was about to go with that.
Yeah.
But they just have a lot of offensive firepower. Austin Reeves, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for what he's been doing this NBA season. So for me, I'm leaning towards. Originally, I had Lakers in 6 because Anthony Edwards is that guy. I feel like he can do some things. But I'm flat out Lakers in 5. Say Lakers in 5.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm leaning Lakers, but I think we're underselling how good Minnesota can be. Like when we talk about the Clippers and what they did the second half of the season, when Julius Randle came back for the Timberwolves in early February, they started cooking everyone. They've been on a run. Now they played a lot of cupcakes at the end of the season, but they've been on a run. They've been playing great, particularly Julius. To me, he's the X factor because they're going to start with Rui on him, but after he bakes him, they're going to have to put LeBron on him. Now, he's going to have to do something against LeBron. If he can, Minnesota could make it tough. But Zig, I know that hand is up because we know what Julius looks like in the playoffs.
There you go.
We know what he looks like in the playoffs.
There you go.
So again, if I'm gonna be fair to James Harden, if I said it about James Harden, I gotta say it about Julius. Yeah. So I expect Julius to be Julius and not do as good. But again, I'll say the same thing for Ant that I said in my Pacers series for Giannis. We've seen superstar players take their game to another level and exceed expectations and win a series. Having said all that, I'm gonna pick the Lakers in 6. But like I said, if I'll put it this way, I'm picking the Lakers in 6. If Minnesota takes them 7 and beats them, I will not be shocked because certain things will have to happen. And as much as Luka's great offensively, just a note that I want to tell that I've been paying attention to with the Lakers. Late in close games, their defense stinks because everyone knows that they got number 77. Come on over here. Let's clear it out. We can cook you every time. And people are not going to talk about it because his offense is incredible. But I think the Lakers do have a problem in close games with him and Austin on the floor at the same time because they can isolate either one of them. And it's typically Luka, and everyone hunts him. So I'm just saying.
I will say this about Julius. Less pressure in a smaller market.
True.
I'll leave it that. He's not the number one. He wasn't. In Atlanta, he was the first option, and then
that matters.
I think that matters. That plays. He's playing less pressure. He's not the Knicks. So now he's in Minnesota and he's playing with Ant. The pressure's a little bit off of him.
Oh, so he's soft. Okay, got it. Cool.
Hey, I call it what it is. Hey, he don't got no expectations. Carl, that's a great point. He don't have no expectations there.
Yeah,
they're not favored to win the series. He's not the number one guy. Carl's absolutely right.
Sucker MC.
Hey, he may be a sucker MC.
That's how Mike used to start his videos back in the day. Oh, you sucker MC, straight up. All right, last series we got the Rockets and the Warriors. This series is going to be very chatty. Got Dylan Brooks up in there, Draymond Green. This series is going to have a makings for a lot of chatty patty, which So Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, is a real notion. So I could see another series going 7 games too. A young team with a mix of some veterans with championship experience with the Rockets. Great coaching on either side too as well. So this series literally will come down to, I think, a final play. It could be potentially a final play. I'm gonna go with the Warriors. It's tough to bet against experience. I got the Warriors in 7 here.
Mike is the Golden State Warriors additional fan, so you gotta go next.
I'll take the Warriors in 6. I think this series is reminiscent of the Warriors in 23 when they were the 6th seed defending champions. They were the 6th seed playing the 3rd seed Sacramento. Young, up and coming team, first time being in the playoffs.
That series went 7-2, right?
Yep, that series went 7.
Yep.
Sacramento, different than Houston. Sacramento relied mostly on offense, barely any defense. Houston's the reverse. They rely mostly on defense. Their offense, I checked the stats. Their offense statistically seems good. I think that's from more the end of the season, but offensively, it's not a good offense. And that to me, that coupled with their inexperience with their best players, I think tips the scale for the Warriors, similar to that series 2 years ago, where I just think the veteran talent, like you just said, Carl, the veteran experience gives them the edge, especially in close games where in the playoffs, palms get sweaty, man. So, yeah, I got the Warriors at 6.
Ziggs.
Warriors in 5. Warriors in 5. The reason why I say 5 is similar to what Mike just alluded to. Their offense has not been the best. They rely on defense. I just took a look at Fred VanVleet's stats because I haven't heard his name at all really this season, and he's been not having the best of seasons. I think 14 points on like 38% shooting from the field. Jalen Green is. I like to look at Jalen Green as a better version of a J.R. Smith. He's very athletic, can shoot the 3, but he's very streaky, hit or miss. 1 minute he'll give you 34 points. The next game he'll give you about 12, 13 points. Which one of them are going to show up? Şengün is pretty solid, pretty consistent, but experience. The Warriors are hungry. You add Jimmy Butler to the fold, playoff Jimmy with Stephen Curry, Draymond, a healthy returning Kuminga. You got Brandon on the wing shooting those threes for you. I'm leaning towards the Warriors in 5. I just feel like they have something to prove because a lot of people counted them out, and for some reason I'm just like, yo, don't get me wrong, the Thompson twin, he's amazing.
Amen is there.
Amen. Sometimes I get confused between the two. It's like
Jimmy. Just remember, Amen. Yeah, Amen's in Houston. That's how you know.
Asar's in Detroit.
Yep.
Amen is a dope individual. I look to see what he's going to do in the future, but I think that team needs just maybe a couple more years, maybe a year or 2 to really solidify themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 6, but I just feel like the Warriors can get this done in 5. That Jimmy Butler is hungry. You see how his whole atmosphere, his whole persona changed once he left Miami and got to Golden State.
Yep. Like, share, comment, subscribe to All Hitless content.
Wait,
stay tuned for more.
I got one more point.
You remembered your point?
This is the thing about, where did he go? Well, there he is. Here's the thing, man. And I just want us to be mindful of this.
He's frozen, Mike.
Oh, he's frozen?
Yeah.
What is he doing, man? Are we still recording? And we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording too.
Man, look. Yo, Zig, there's something going on in the air right now with the Warriors, and it's a lot of hate. And it looks weird because it's like the Warriors can lose close games and everybody says they suck. And the team that beats them in the close game, everyone says, oh, they're great. Mm-hmm. But then when the Warriors win a close game, they still suck because they should have won by a lot.
Yeah.
This is the weird energy that nobody else gets that type of energy. So Steph and them are mindful of that. And like you said, I think playoff Jimmy is a real thing. I think they hungry, man. So something's about to shake, man.
Yeah.
I won't be shocked if it does.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see what Golden State can do. Because I think if they beat the Rockets, they get potentially the Lakers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fire series.
What does that conversation look like? I told a LeBron fan this a couple weeks ago when we knew the potential for that matchup could be there. We thought just the first round. What does the conversation sound like if Steph and the Warriors beat LeBron and Luka in the second round. That conversation sounds different, especially if they go on to win a chip.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yo, it's a lot riding on it. Like, yo, if LeBron wins a chip this year, most likely it's going to be Luka that leads them. So he'll get credit for the chip, but they can easily just say Luka's the best player. If the Warriors win a chip this year, they're going to say Jimmy Butler helped, but Jimmy Butler already told you he's the Robin. He said Steph is his Batman. Let Steph go through LeBron again for a championship.
That's what he had to say, because I'm running low on battery.
I'm just saying. I was just talking about a narrative that's bubbling up that can potentially shake up historical conversations, Carl. When we get to that part where we start talking about championships versus accolades and all, when we have that conversation.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know what I'll say. Let's see. Let's get to the second round. Let's see what happens there.
I knew you was gonna say that.
That's all. It's true. I'm all about fairness. Let's just get past the first round. Let's see how we get to the second round, and then we'll have that conversation when we get there, because there's a lot there, and that kind of leads into I hope it happens, because I've been brewing this Magic and Larry, Steph and Bron. Is it the same kind of rivalry kind of thing? And that's what I'm trying to segue into. So that's why I'm praying we get this matchup in the second round. Like that's what I want. Straight
copy.
Like, share, comment, subscribe to all Hitless content. Take care. All right.